Hello my fellow book addicts, Meg here, and time for another book review. Today I'm going to be talking about Written and Read by Anne Bishop, and this is book 1 in the Other series. So yes, this is actually a reread for me. When I first read this series, I just blew through it so fast that I just didn't even think about filming a review. But now that I've read all but the most recent book, which is actually kind of a spin-off, I believe, I decided to sit down, reread them, so I can actually get some reviews up. Because I really enjoyed this series. I thought this was a cool and interesting series, and I believe it's classified as urban fantasy, but I am not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure it is urban fantasy. And this whole series takes place in a world where supernatural beings are the dominant species. They are called the Others or Earth Natives, and there's another term that I cannot pronounce, so I'm not going to try, but it translates into Earth Natives. You know, you got your classic shapeshifters, werewolves, got coyote shifters, crow shifters, owl shifters, just to name a few. You got your vampires too, as well as elementals, and a few other things as well. And like I said, these beings are the head honchos of the planet. Humans are seen as clever meat to these beings. And humans are given their own little sections of the planet. And they are to stay in these little sections unless given permission otherwise. If they try and push any further than their own boundaries, they suffer the consequences, which usually involve them getting eaten, and or the rest of their community suffering in some way, shape, or form. And I just gotta say, since the names for like the land masses and the days of the week and the oceans and such are different than our world, I do like how, I believe that this is in each book, there's a little glossary of terms to help remind us. So that I think is really neat. I love when books, be them urban fantasy, young adult, or fantasy, have little glossaries like that. Now, one of our main characters in this book's name is Meg, and she is what is known as a blood prophet. Basically, when her skin is cut, she can see visions. And there are two ways this can happen. She can either speak the prophecy, and anyone around her listens, and she is shielded from the pain and most of the time the memories of these visions by this euphoria. If there's no one around to listen, or she needs to know what this prophecy is about and she doesn't speak it, she remembers the vision, but she suffers this horrible pain. And girls like her, because of the euphoria they get when they cut and speak, cutting becomes addictive to them. So, before I go too in depth with the synopsis, so because there is cutting involved throughout this series, it might not be the series for you if you're triggered or bothered by self-harm in any way. So Meg grew up in this compound controlled by a man called Controller. Not very creative, but I'll let that slide. And basically he has all sorts of blood prophet girls. And for the right price, you can pay a very nice pretty penny to have one of these girls cut and give you a vision. So this kind of compound is kept really on the down low to, you know, keep people from going up in arms. They disguise themselves as a place that is here to help the girls. They claim that these girls are a danger to themselves and they are there to help them. In Meg's compound, they are not given names, they are given designations like CS and then a number. Meg is actually a name she gave herself after talking to another blood prophet girl named Jean, who was brought in from outside the compound. And between the two of them, Meg escapes, and she ends up making her way to a town named Lakeside. More specifically, she makes it to the Lakeside Courtyard, which is an area that is controlled by the Others. Now, courtyards are kind of a place where Others can get shipments of human goods. That's one reason why they don't mind humans around, because they produce useful things that they might like. So the courtyard is kind of there for the Others to, first off, keep an eye on humans, but also to receive shipments of these things that they like to get. So Meg stumbles into the courtyard and meets Simon Wolfgard. And one thing that I also find nice and convenient is that the Others' last names are basically what's kind of other they are. like Crow Guard, Bear Guard, Coyote Guard, Wolf Guard, and another name that I cannot pronounce but is basically a vampire. So it makes life very easy when trying to keep track of all sorts of names. It's simple, but I like it. Like his name suggests, Simon is a wolf shifter and he is the leader of the courtyard. And unlike many courtyards across the continent, he actually hires some humans and allows humans in the courtyard as a way for him to study them. So Meg, one very stormy night, stumbles across a poster that has a help wanted sign. So she finds Simon and asks for the job as the human liaison. So like the controller couldn't call the police and find her and demand that they go get her, because human law doesn't apply in the courtyard. Like, she could have committed murder and gone into the courtyard and human police wouldn't be able to touch her. Unless the others wanted her out of there. So for the time being, Meg is going to be safe in the courtyard, provided she doesn't piss off the others into eating her or chasing her off. And on the other hand, Simon knows there's something up with Meg. The first being, she seems like she has a secret. He has a feeling she's hiding something from them. And another reason is she doesn't smell like prey, like most humans do. And that confuses the ever-loving heck out of him. So Meg is trying to keep the secret from the others while trying to enjoy this freedom that she has had, the first freedom she has had in her whole life. And Simon is trying to figure out what the heck is up with this girl. Another character we got is Crispin James Montgomery, and he is a police officer from a town named Tolan, a city named Tolan, I guess I should say. He's recently run into some trouble with his city. He was on a job, first responder, and he killed a human in order to save a wolf girl. It kind of turned them into seeing him as a traitor, and he ended up being transferred to Lakeside. So we got him trying to make ties with the courtyard to try and keep tensions between humans and others at a minimum, because he knows, as well as many police officers in Lakeside know, that if the others wanted to, they could wipe all of humanity out. And they frankly don't want that to happen, understandably. So there's quite a bit going on in this book. Which is nice, because I feel there really wasn't a dull moment. I frankly enjoy all the characters. I absolutely loved Meg's character. I thought she was a sweetheart. Just her innocence about things was adorable. Her naivety could be adorable. And frankly, though adorable might not be the best word to describe the others, I found most of their cluelessness about humanity and some of the finer points of humans adorable, for lack of better words. And just how confused they could get over simple things. And just, I really like this book. I like how things were set up. I really enjoyed the world. And it's really nice to see humanity not being the top dogs for once. You know, having the supernaturals be out in the open and in control instead of in hiding, trying not to be discovered. I am not sure if I've read a book like this before, which is nice. It's nice to switch up things once in a while. And Montgomery, I think he is amazing. Honestly, given the situation that he was in, the poor guy could have turned to hate the others as much as anyone else because he lost his job because of another. But instead, he stands firm by his choice still. When he killed the man that he did, he didn't see a wolf. He saw a little girl that easily could have been his own daughter in the hands of a disturbing creep. And since his girlfriend refused to move to Lakeside with him with her daughter, he's alone. His family's back in Toland. And still, he is dedicated to try and keep the peace between the others and humanity. I'd say that's a very pure soul if there ever was one. One thing that I can understand, but at the same time is hard to wrap my head around, is just how humans in this world, how do I describe it? Love them, hate the others, and would love nothing more than to see them wiped out. And there are those who try and kill others and think they can get away or they won't face some kind of consequences. When it's like, guys, they outnumber you by a lot. And there's so many others that you do not understand that don't make themselves known as much, like the elementals, who could easily wipe out humanity if they wished. I can't wrap my mind around how they would risk their lives and so many other people's just because they think the situation they're in is unfair. Especially when those who are pushing against them can shapeshift into some of the top predators in the world. Or, like, control the weather, make tornadoes come out of nowhere, summon huge snowstorms that can decimate a city. Like, it's been mentioned a few times in this book that there are cities who have been wiped out because of retribution from the others. And it took little to no work on their part. So you would think more people would learn from that and stop trying to shake the boat. But I guess in this world, as well as our world, people are just stupid sometimes. So because I'm still trying to gauge on how I feel about doing spoiler sections or not, I am not going to do a spoiler section for this book. So once again, I'm going to reiterate, love this book. If you are into urban fantasy at all, or into shapeshifters at all, I highly suggest giving this book a try because it was amazing. So yes, that is it for this book review, and I hope to see you guys next time.